Alrighty then. We are live. Kudos live at 5. It's not 5 where I'm at, but it's probably 5 in a different place. You know that old saying? It's 5 o'clock in a different place. That's true today. And it was true a few hours ago. What's new? What's new, pussycat? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll tell you what's new. A pussycat. I got a Celine time lapse here. Not sure what to do with it exactly in the thing. We're probably going to speed this up quite a bit and get it zoom. Yeah, something like that. But so what's going on? What's going on is I've been working really hard on making a lot of progress on a part of this video that's actually starting to get a little out of hand. Because I had this sort of vision for the intro, and I am realizing that vision, and some of it's turning out better than I expected, because I'm sort of learning this program as we go. So what's the situation? The situation is everything up until this point. So at a minute 42. So I basically get the first minute 42. Come on. Jesus. Where is it? Where is it? There. Fucking A. There we go. So this frame, let's cut that out. Okay. So, looking at the whole project, this part in blue, fucking A. This part in pink is the intro that I have, I think, completed. There might be a couple little, like, might be some subtitles. Yeah, there's some subtitles right here.
Would actually have stuff like that in them.
Hollywood.
By the way,
why is this mono? Why isn't it mono? Change strength to mono. Okay.
I've been in Hollywood movies. I've been around.
All right. So basically, this part is missing.
In a movie.
Wait. Ooh, I'm a little confused because I thought I did work on this. This is network intro 3. Oh, I forgot. It's because I'm on a different timeline. I remember now. So I have multiple timelines in this episode. Ah, yes. Okay, here we are. So, yeah, actually, I shouldn't have done that thing where I cut this off because, whatever. This is the timeline where I actually can edit all these things. And, I don't know. Let's look at some of this.
I've been in the most elite Hollywood parties there are.
Hello, Chad. Chad Tiemeyer, welcome back, my friend. Good to see you. I'm kind of just talking about what I've done so far. The intro to this network video turned out it really got out of hand. But I just had this vision for trying to really get the point across that all of Alex's bullshit is just shit that he comes up with from movies. Now he thinks movies are real. And I went and found a whole bunch of sound bites and clips of Alex talking about movies. I cut them out pretty tight, and I had like 7 minutes worth of clips. So I cut them down even more and cut them down and trimmed them and, you know, chose the best ones and threw out a bunch of them. And now the intro is about 2 minutes long. But I think it's turning out really good because I did a lot of drawing. I did a lot of like editing stuff, and it was kind of like learning a lot of little tricks and transitions and overlaying effects. And I'm pretty happy with it. There's only a little bit. There's this little gap of silence of stuff where I don't know when I want to draw yet. I kind of want to draw another time-lapse background, which are really fun. Let's take a look at what I've got so far.
When you see something like Terminator, you think that's a movie? No, the art's imitating life.
Actually, I'm going to show you a better version of it, because watching it through this program is actually not good. It's going to be a tiny little thing. So let's do, oh God. Yeah, let's do this. We'll do a full screen.
When you
here.
see something like Terminator.
And you'll see the kind of vibe I'm going for. This is not going to look like one of my videos. It will sort of as the intro goes on. But to be honest, I've been a little inspired by other YouTubers and editors, specifically Elephant Graveyard. And I think watching a bunch of Elephant Graveyard stuff kind of like put me in this mode of like, let's make something that kind of takes all the damning clips and just throws them together and makes it visually interesting.
When you see something like Terminator, you think that's a movie? No, the art's imitating life. That's all predictive programming. When I say literally, I mean stuff in Star Trek, you know, the Borg come to assimilate everybody. That's art imitating life. Just like we saw in the movie Avatar, that's what voodoo is. So you watch the Hunger Games, that's actually the plan. By the way, they had a RoboCop back in the 80s. Talk about predictive programming. The Simpsons also predicted it. It looked like something out of Terminator. Rubbing their hands together like villains do in criminology, not just in movies. And it's not just movies like James Bond Spectre that are telling the truth. No, my friends, it's films like The Last Captain America. See that movie, The Blob? Basically like that, but in slow motion. It's like the movie Alien, and it really freaked me out.
It's called predictive programming. Like Captain Plant in that movie, you're like, oh, that historically happened, that happened. And then Jack Bauer does it on the TV show 24.
Just like you see in the movie Ten Commandments. Just like in the movie Hurt Locker. Just like in the movie that's an excellent movie, The Island. Children of men, why there's no more babies. The sperm's all sterile. All predictive programming. World War Z, is this part of predictive programming? Kind of like Gladiator where they stab. You saw The Running Man? And they're scared of us getting together, just like in the movie. Is it Ants or is it Bug's Life? And they would go in there, and there's just all these people like a zombie movie. It's just like out of the...
Okay, anyway, the idea is to transition over to the network part when we'll just sort of fade in Dan.
He's talking about how he was in these boardrooms, and then it turns into him.
So maybe a little later on. But then we got the whole network thing, and there's still a shitload I haven't done with this. It's mostly like laying out stuff, and I drew a bunch more faces and poses to try to add it together. So we'll see how that works. But I have this little transition.
It's not a business deal, Mr. Bill. This is a church.
It's not a business deal, Mr. Bill. This is a church. Alex, in that movie, in that monologue at least, the word church is never, ever, ever mentioned. Not once. Not even one time. You're an idiot. So, that's the deal. And another thing that I wanted to look at is in this intro, I have a new piece of art, which is my picture of Celine. So, what is that? 5, 7, 6. Let's write that. Celine. And I'm going to try to... I don't know. I don't know. We're just going to slap this on the timeline to see what it looks like. Oh, for fuck's sake. So, as it is, it needs to be trimmed a little bit. Trim the first couple of frames off of it. And we'll also trim the last few frames. Probably before we get the background. That works. And then let's go back one frame. Freeze frame. And then we can hold this out as long as we need. And there is a tool for removing the white background fairly easily. So we're going to try that. First thing I want to do, make this into a compound clip. And let's speed it way up. Try 500%.
I mean, I've been in some big Hollywood films.
Oh my!
So it's really hard to get an idea of the playback because it just always chugs.
Big Hollywood productions with major
I've
roles.
talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been
and if I recall correct, it's called Luma Keyer. There's two different Luma Keyers. One says Luma Keyer Leaky, and one just says Luma Keyer. I don't know the difference. Let's just try the leaky one. Okay, so alpha. That didn't do anything. Invert. What? Luminance? Oh, okay. That's what it is. Luminance. So, the problem is it doesn't show the whiskers. Makes the whiskers disappear. Kind of looks cool. Just the outline, the shadow or something. Okay, but we do want to invert that. So that shows the whiskers. There we go. All right, it's not going to play back. You kind of just have to trust it. But so basically, we need visual for
Big Hollywood productions. I've been in two big Hollywood productions.
Big Hollywood productions
with major roles.
With major roles? I've been in 2 Hollywood production with major roles. That's when he was doing his fucking. Who's that stupid ass fat bigot that was on the radio? Rush Limbaugh. That's when he was doing his Rush voice. Major roles? Okay, so then we have the Celine, but I need something for a background.
The most elite Hollywood parties there are.
Celebrity.
I've been in the most
major role.
Talk to Hollywood people who have been in.
Big Hollywood productions with major
I've
roles.
talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England.
All right. Well, that's that. The plan is to draw something. Underground caves in England in satanic orgies. I'm curious. Let's find that clip again. Underground caves in England. Yeah, this is from 2012. Oh, there is a video of it. When I was ripping these, I didn't think I was gonna grab videos. I happened to grab some video, but not all of it. Love that Alex turned down the Star-Lord role for $4 million, and then Hollywood offered Chris Pratt $2 million. Yeah, there was something. I don't remember the exact movie. I guess I don't know what Star-Lord is. What is Star-Lord? Star-Lord? Is that Star Wars? Star-Lord. Star-Lord is a comic book character. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Never saw that. Never saw this one. It looks like Rick and Morty. Is it like a Rick and Morty kind of thing? Like live action Rick and Morty? I'm just joking around. I know it's older than Rick and Morty. Isn't it? 2014? Yeah. Alex said he got offered the role for $4 million, and he turned it down because because he'll want to tell you like everyone in the Hollywood industry is sick and evil, and they'll corrupt you with their evil liberalness.
High-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. And then, of course, it's off record. I'm not allowed to say who, but that's as a journalist. None of it was illegal, I was told about. It was adults, but that's just the gateway into.
Okay, so he says this on October 21st. He also said it on October 18th. It's probably just a rebroadcast, right?
In underground caves in England.
Oh, this is great. I didn't think I had visual of him saying this. I really wanted to because I want to watch his eyes after he says underground caves in England.
Other toxins from the drinking water that they...
Oh, fuck's sake. Let's get this. I'm gonna record it so I can rip the video. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on, come on, come on. You were already playing. I paused it. Now you can't play it? For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. I say it all the time. But the internet never goes any faster. Dan did the research to find that they paid Pratt $2 million for the part. . Yeah, Alex. Alex, when people aren't just like handing him $100 bills or hugging him and telling everyone how much they love him, or like when he walks into a restaurant, everyone very politely says, "There's 100 people in here, and 90 of us are fans of your show," so that way he can accurately report the fucking statistics. Fuck's sake! Why does just play? I hate this shit. Where something's playing, you pause it, and then it just never plays. I shouldn't have fucking paused it. Come on. Literally recording a video, and I can't get it. I just play it. Just play that clip. Just play that fucking clip. Play this clip. And Alex doesn't have to negotiate a big salary for a movie. He just gets offered a huge amount. I wonder if they offered him royalties, too. Here we go.
In underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. And then, of course, it's off record. I'm not allowed to say who, but that's as a journalist. None of it was illegal, I was told about. It wasn't, it was here in Texas where they would have the judges and police go in and have sex with little kids in the CPS and also in the juvenile halls. And that got all swept under the rug. I mean, these are really creepy people. I mean, beyond creepy. And this is their world. They admit the CPS are in this country 7 times more likely to sexually abuse children than any other group. 5 times more likely to physically abuse them. You can look those numbers up.
Just making
they
shit
put
up. You can look them
2/3
up.
of the kids plus on psychotropic drugs, 7 on average. So it's all about hurting the children. If they can't get away with chopping their hearts out like every other culture did, well, they do the other thing. So we're going to tie that into former IMF head lived a life of eyes wide shut. That's what the New York Times said. Down in underground, grottos in mass sex orgies. That's just the gateway to all this. I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. And then, of course, it's off record. I'm not allowed to say who, but that's as a journalist. None of it was illegal, I was told about.
You're a fucking psycho, Alex. You're an absolute fucking psycho. Carrying $100 bills to give to my heroes. Yeah, no, he isn't allowed to say who. It was all off the record. Hey, man, I'll tell you about the satanic orgy, okay? But this is off the record. And then he's also like, it wasn't illegal. Nothing illegal about satanic orgies. That's because the Church of Satan does not allow pedophilia and requires that all sexual acts be performed between consenting adults, between 1 or more consenting adults. If there's only one person involved, they must consent to jerk it off. All right, so I got the little clip of him saying...
in satanic orgies.
So I'm going to take that video and do some fun with it, kind of like what I did with the others. So I'll basically have some kind of background, and then I'll have the video that I just got. Let's see. AJC 10 Orgies England. What? Oh, I'm still recording. That's why. Okay. Stop recording, and now I can save the video. Okay. I'm going to put this in its correct folder. I'm trying to get organized. Everything got to be in folders. Alex said Wolf's husband gave him classified info next week. Yeah, and remember back in like 2017, he blew his Don Jr. Don Jr. like I can't remember. It was something to do with Roger.
Record. I'm not allowed to say who, but and then of course it's all in satanic orgies.
In satanic orgies. That's where he was. What gets me about this clip is that if we just end it here,
caves in England.
I've talked to Hollywood, high-level Hollywood people who have been to underground caves in England.
In underground caves in England.
All right, thanks, Chad. Good to see you. Have a great night. Great day at work tomorrow. Thanks for your support, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. In England. So what? Underground caves, you say? Wow. I've only seen caves that are above the ground.
In satanic orgies.
In satanic orgies. All right, let's fuck it up. Let's do some shit to this. Let's crop it. Is that Obama in his background? Softness. I could try doing a mask, but with the kind of effects I'm doing, I maybe don't need to. Yeah. So now let's say we had this and we are gonna like add it to our pile here.
Hollywood. By the way, I've been in Hollywood movies. People who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. In underground caves in England and in underground caves in underground caves. People who have been in underground cave. Hollywood people who have been in
big Hollywood productions with major roles.
People who have been
I've talked to major role.
I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been Hollywood people. I've talked to high-level. I've talked to high-level. I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. In underground caves in England and in underground caves. I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves. I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been underground caves. In underground caves in England and in satanic orgies. I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies.
All right, that's close enough. All I'm trying to do is match up the mouth movements, which is really hard to do visually because of how choppy. Gotta get it together. Get your act together, or I'm gonna sing the Naughty Kitty song. Bad, bad kitties. Bad, bad kitties. Bad, bad kitties being bad. Bad, bad kitties. Bad, bad
People in underground caves.
So, what are some fun things we can do with this? For an example, we could do a 3D shape. We could cast Alex's face onto a 3D shape. All we have to do is get a 3D render node, put it together, and we can decide what the shape will be in the old inspector. For example, say it's a cone. All right, we may have to maybe rotate this around. All right. I don't know. Let's try something. So we'll put a keyframe here. Let's key that. We'll go to the middle. We'll key that. We'll go to the end. And we'll key that. And let's just see what it looks like.
I've talked to high-level Hollywood people who have been in underground caves in England and in satanic orgies.
Hollywood Productions with
high-level Hollywood people in underground caves in England and in satanic.
All right. I mean, that's just one way to approach it. The cone, and of course, let's see what other shapes I could do. A sphere, a cylinder, a torus. That is whacked out. What's going on? Oh, it's like he's going through a. Looks like he's going through a what's that called? A sand dial, sand clock. Is it a sand dial? What's this? The clock with the sand hourglass. That's it. Looks like an hourglass. So I could do something like this. Like, he comes out of the hourglass, just melts into. It's kind of like we're like pouring him out of a faucet. That's brilliant. An angle. The output is. This is sort of a view, like an outside view that you can sort of get to move it around. I don't know if I want to do that with this clip, but it's good to know I can basically make someone look like they're being poured out of a faucet and splashing. What if without even keying
In
it, just
underground
like that?
caves in England and in satanic or high-level Hollywood people.
That looks very funny. We could do a plane. Planes aren't quite as exciting, but they can be moved and flipped around a little bit to kind of give it some 3D-ness. Cubes seem like okay, it's just putting one face on each side of the cube. Kind of looks weird. Let's say, what if we raise cube mapping? What does cube mapping mean? I don't know. It's weird. Super weird. Cone Taurus Eco. I don't know what an eco is. I still don't know what an eco is. What the fuck is an eco? Can we rotate this and figure it out? What the fuck is this shape? Look like any shape I've seen. Subdivisions. What? Is it like the Mickey Mouse ball?
People who have been in underground caves in England in satanic orgy. I've talked to high-level Hollywood.
Alright, it's not going to play back. I'm going to do most of this work off stream because it just doesn't work when I'm streaming. My goal for tonight is to do some... Let's make some kind of drawing that I can record in time-lapse that will accompany the Celine drawing and that Alex head. All right, well, in the meantime, I'm going to throw on this old Jimmy Dore episode. More like Jimmy Boar Revisited. So it's 9:58.
Red alert, 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 red alert. Knowledge fight. Dan and Jordan, I am sweating. KnowledgeFight.com. It's time to pray.
I have great respect for Knowledge Fight.
Knowledge Fight. I'm sick of them posing as if they're the good guys, saying we are the bad guys. Knowledge Fight.
Dan and Jordan. Knowledge Fight.
I need money. Andy in Kansas. Andy. Stop it. Andy in Kansas. Andy. It's time to pray. Andy in Kansas, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Hello, Alex. I'm a first-time caller. I'm a huge fan. I love your work.
Knowledge Fight.
KnowledgeFight.com. I love you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Knowledge Fight. I'm Dad.
I'm Jordan.
We're a couple dudes like to sit around, worship at the altar of Celine, and talk a little bit about Alex Jones.
Oh, indeed we are, Dan.
Jordan.
Dan. Quick question for you.
What's up?
What's your bright spot today, buddy?
Why don't you go first?
Oh, well, my bright spot, Dan, it was going to be tennis. Because
Okay.
the U.S. Open starts tomorrow.
Sure.
Or today when you're listening to this.
So much tennis.
It's such great. It's
just
the
got
last
done with the
major of the
Olympics,
year.
and now
It's going to be great.
ooh.
Yeah. But I haven't spoken at all this year, I think, about Shohei Ohtani.
Sure.
And the man is a god.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a man. He is
At baseball.
He's transcended. I mean, there's no words anymore for anything that's ever happened in a sport
Yeah.
that is like this. This has never happened. It can't happen. It just can't.
What's going on with that translator? I haven't kept up with that story.
Oh, I believe he's just in jail now.
Okay.
I believe he's just in regular old prison.
Sweet.
Just doing all the whoops. You had
Okay.
a serious gambling addiction, and you ruined your life, and
And it
stole a
wasn't
bunch.
Ohtani's fault?
No, of course not.
Well,
No.
Good.
That is so funny.
You
that-
navigated that scandal.
I mean, there's just, and that's another part of it, is like he's the only person who is like, yeah, he's too busy hitting a ball
And throwing it.
and throwing it. But now here's the thing, right? Can't throw the ball.
Oh.
He can't throw the ball this
He's
year.
not a pitcher this year.
He's not a pitcher this year. He's just a designated hitter. All he does is go up to bat and then hit. And he is going to probably win the National League MVP because he's the most valuable player who's only doing one thing. And he's also the best at the other thing that he does. But he's just doing this thing this year. And he's still going to win the MVP without doing that other thing.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
He's doing things.
He's good at the thing.
He just reached 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases.
Woo!
And that is for the best pitcher in the league. 40 home runs and 40 stolen
Quite a few.
bases.
Quite a few.
And he's going to probably end the year maybe 50-50. The only baseball player in history ever to do that.
So is he on the juice? Are people suspecting this?
Nope.
No?
He is, and I mean this, quite possibly the devil. Because if I was the devil, I would have gotten sick of all this sin and backroom deals and all that shit. I would have been like, hey, I sold that guy's soul, and now he's really good at the guitar. What if I just played baseball?
I tried to get into fiddle contests
See?
for a bit.
Yeah,
It didn't work out.
I did the whole thing. But
Trying
baseball,
to find myself.
individual sport.
As long as you're a designated hitter
Exactly.
or a pitcher.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a team sport in other contexts.
In all other contexts except for the ones that the devil would be interested in.
And he would play in L.A. He's in L.A., right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in the L.A. for the
Whoa.
Angels, and then he's in the L.A. for the Dodgers. Of course the devil lives in L.A.
Right.
It all makes sense. I think he is the devil.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll buy it.
Yep. What's your bright
I don't
spot?
watch a lot of baseball, so
right.
I'll accept your premise. And
To sum up, my bright spot is that the devil plays baseball. What's your bright spot?
and he's
Dan?
your favorite player. So my bright spot, as promised,
Yes.
it's time to talk about the challenge.
Hell yeah.
Now that you have watched last week's episode,
Indeed.
spoiler alerts
Oh, my
for it.
God.
What an episode!
So great.
A lot of shit going on.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if I actually want this to be my bright spot, but I enjoyed I enjoyed it.
It was just a
We
great.
didn't get to talk about it,
No.
and we teased it at the beginning of the last episode.
Yeah, it's just.
Sad to see Leroy go first.
I saw that coming a mile away. Leroy's actually not good at things. I think he's a very attractive man, well built, got all those muscles and stuff.
Seems like he's got a great personality.
And he's such an
Seems like a good
awesome
guy.
dude. Yeah.
Good
He's
character on the show.
a great father, I'm sure. All of that stuff. not very coordinated. Just not a hand-eye coordination guy.
I believe that some of my preseason picks that I was enjoying and interested in seeing how they played out included Leroy and Nerys, and they're both gone.
They're both gone immediately.
I have to rethink everything about how I'm approaching this season.
Yeah.
I miss Ed from Philly.
Totally. I get you. Ed is great. Ed is great. It's good that Nerys is gone. As much as I love Nerys. But I think, or it would have been good if Horacio was gone. The two of them together on the show, not good.
You weren't interested in seeing a love story blossom. You were
sick of their making out all the goddamn time.
They're free of each other, talking about babies, and now one of them can be a challenge monster.
Exactly.
And destroy everybody.
Yeah, and the other one can cheat like they're going to do, so they don't have to worry about it later on in 2 years whenever they've, they're a challenge relationship. Cheat!
So we got all the classics.
Yep.
We got a pole wrestle. We got a hall brawl.
Oh yeah, that was one of the more embarrassing hall brawls in the history of hall brawls. What was happening when Olivia just decided to go back?
I don't know.
That was crazy.
But I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, so the hall brawl, for those who have not watched the challenge, is a hallway, an artificially created hallway where you're supposed to run at each other. And then one person comes out the other side and hits a bell, and you get a point.
Yep.
Do you think they practice this? Because it's a classic game on the challenge.
That's a good question.
Do you think, at home or at their gym, they have a hall to run into?
Sure. But this was for another person.
You don't have a hallway.
No.
Anyway, excited for this season and what it may hold.
Yeah.
So I'm not excited about this episode.
Great.
I made a big mistake.
Oh, no.
Yep.
What did we do? Do you mean starting the show?
No.
Because we're years late on that one.
Yeah, it's too late for that. But what I have prepared for us today is a mistake.
Okay.
Jimmy Dore had Alex on.
Oh, God damn it.
Anyway, we'll talk about that. But before we do, let's say hello to some new wonks.
Okay.
So first, I'm Rusty, I'm Audrey, I'm DZX, Clark W. Griswold. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Alex B. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Dan Levin. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
And Clyde the Wild Ride. Thank you so much. You're now Policy Wonk.
I'm a policy wonk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we got a technocrat in the mix, Jordan. So thank you so much to Drew Money 420 says, happy birthday, Jimbo. Hope you stay sick as hell on account of embarrassing.
Sure.
And a disaster. And he was in town in Chicago for the DNC.
Okay.
And he did a live show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he did a live show. And it was called what is it? Rumble Time with Jimmy.
Oh, my God.
Because it's on Rumble.
Oh.
And his first guest was Alex.
He used to be a comic, you know?
He was.
He used to just do stand-up comedy.
And we're going to get some good comedy on this.
I disagree.
We are. We're going to this hilarity. I was not really prepared for what I saw.
Yeah.
I think I might give him and his world a little more credit than they deserve.
Yeah, that probably sounds right.
It's a bit more overtly just using right-wing talking points than I realized.
Right. In real life, perhaps. But on a stage, you're making the choice to inflict that upon others. And I find it disgusting.
So, yeah, his show, it's at Live Chicago. And it's interesting because this title, Rumble Time with Jimmy Dore, it would suggest that maybe this is going to be a rumble. He's going to specifically have guests on that he would have a fight with, and that's where the entertainment's going to come from. But he gets along great with Alex. They've been on each other's show, and Jimmy's such a dopey idiot that he just lets Alex lie to his face regularly. Doesn't matter. The name Rumble Time is not actually about fighting or conflict or ideas or anything. It's promotion for the streaming platform Rumble, which I suspect he has some sort of a deal with. I get that Rumble's supposed to be this outsider platform and all that, but it still comes off kind of losery to name your show after it, after NBC, and that's fine because it's the network that's running it. But presumably, with Jimmy, the point is supposed to be that the network isn't running this show.
Right.
And yet it's called Rumble Time. And this seems desperate. This seems like desperate behavior. It's like calling your show, your YouTube show, YouTube Time.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to debut my new show, I Hope Elon Musk Likes Me Time, but apparently that's a loser thing to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think some people have more or less called their shows that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's where we're at. And
we're at Rumble Time.
We're at Rumble Time.
Yeah.
And Alex is going to make an appearance.
Okay.
We're about 30 seconds away from starting. Should we just fucking start it, or what? Oh, Alex Jones will be here in about 10 minutes, so... he's coming in. How's it go, Mike? Dude impression. Hey, you were supposed to introduce me as Jeff Bridges.
I was?
Yeah.
No one told me that.
I forgot to tell you.
Okay, we'll do a rambling introduction.
Boo!
Yes.
Boo!
Hey, you know this guy, man. He's cool.
On that white dudes for Kamala Harris call, the fundraising call, so that's why they're making fun of him.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I don't know why Jeff Bridges would be relevant.
I no longer understand any references that these people make.
And I don't think that this guy has a good Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Josh Gad, who are also on those calls. I don't know if he does a good impression of them. But you got Jeff Bridges, man. He's the dude.
I mean, I bet he can't sing. I strongly doubt this guy has the Gad voice.
I don't know a whole lot about Gad. He does musicals?
He's got a fucking diamond in those pipes.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. Maybe I'll have to check out some of his movies.
No, you'll be fine.
Okay. So this is kind of like, I get the instinct of like, hey, Alex will be here in 10 minutes.
Sure.
But it feels like giving that to the crowd pretty early. We've got this guy coming on who's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels unconfident. So we start off, and Jimmy's basically doing a little bit of like a monologue up top.
Sure,
He's doing some jokes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a live show.
We are officially Rumble timing, right? We're on? Okay. All right, I got a thumbs up from Roy. Fantastic. Hey, hello, Chicago. Welcome to the first Rumble time with Jimmy Dore.
Crowd's hot.
It's already a party. We're having a great time. We already talked to a guy with cancer, and we're here in Chicago, where, according to Democrats, the violent crime is declining.
Is it? Really?
We were supposed to have another guy on the panel, but he got shot on the way over.
So that's pretty classic late night monologue structure for a joke. You know, nothing wrong with that. Nothing too edgy or ambitious, but it follows the way you introduce a concept, then negate it in a slightly unexpected way. Saying someone on the panel couldn't make it because they got shot isn't the most unexpected twist, but at least it's the territory of how a comic would write a joke.
Yeah.
The goal of a monologue joke like this is to lampoon what's being passed off as a sincere message. Like back when Domino's was saying, we fucked up, our pizza's better now. You might go on stage and say something like, they made their pizza better, they say that, but I called and ordered a large pepperoni, and you know what showed up? A medium pie, no pepperoni, but a live pelican. You're creating a bizarre image to delight the audience, and the point behind what you're saying is that they didn't make the pizza better.
Right.
They're telling you they did, but it's a premise that you just blindly accept because of marketing. In this case, though, the point Jimmy's trying to make is kind of not really true, which is that it's a lie that crime is down in Chicago.
Yeah, no, it's down.
I'm not sure what Democrats Jimmy is citing who are saying that violent crime is down, but the reality of this is actually a pretty complicated question. Data analyzed by the University of Chicago Crime Lab clearly shows that homicide is down year over year from 2021 to 22 to 23, and that non-fatal shootings have followed the same trajectory. If you look at broader data from the Chicago Police Department statistics, you can see that there is an increase in aggravated batteries and thefts, 10% and 6% respectively at the time I'm preparing this episode, and these represent challenges, but the rhetoric of there's crime everywhere it's aimed at appealing to the law and order type policies, which have a long history of trending toward right-wing interests and initiatives that lead that direction. We could look at the numbers and say that our approach to policing isn't necessarily working, and that's a fine position to hold. But the big attack about Chicago is that everyone's getting shot and killed, and Jimmy's joke is specifically that a member of the panel got shot, which is a crime that's down. So the premise is flawed.
I mean, it's hard to write a good joke about people getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose maybe if you were to punch up at like the cops, doing what, like
But I think
25% of the shootings?
But I think that is supposed to be underneath it.
Yeah.
I think that there is. I mean, obviously, it's supposed to be a criticism of the system, not the people who are shooting people, I guess.
I think it'd be funnier if he called them Democrips.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they do a Jesse Ventura impression later.
Always funnier.
So,
always funnier to call them Democrips and Republicans.
I think that you're supposed to understand this as criticism of the system.
Sure.
But the whole like Chicago is dangerous and full of crime thing is a bit lazy, and it's the framing of the joke is leading it in an intentional direction, and that is towards right-wing ideas about increased policing as opposed to different strategies and approaches towards policing that maybe would be more effective.
I'm interested in that guy. That guy who's really wanting to be the guy screaming, "Oh, is it?" That guy?
I wasn't sure. That might have been Metzger. Not sure.
I was going to say.
So actual crime rates don't reflect how people feel about what crime rates are. Consistently, studies have shown that people overestimate the amount of crime that happens, generally because the news reports crimes and doesn't report a crime not happening. Our perceptions have an underlying bias towards assuming more crime, regardless of what's actually happening. Jimmy is playing into reassuring that bias instead of challenging it, which I feel is antithetical to the image that you want to cultivate as a firebrand truth teller.
Sure.
And so I feel like the construction of this is meant in a way to exacerbate the feelings that lead towards right-wing views of policing, as opposed to the alternative.
Sure.
Which I think you could tweak this joke in a way to make it work as a more anti-authority thing, but I don't think it works.
No, but it's like he's clearly got an audience that is already in on the joke. And in ultimate, really, they're just in on the rhythm of his language. Like, it could have been anything. Blah, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
But I think that they're more in on the right-winginess of it than I realize.
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
Hearing the audience respond the way they do to the things that Jimmy's saying, and the things that Jimmy's saying, made me realize, like, oh, there's a whole lot of just the same right-wing grievance kind of based shit. So here he expands on this shooting thing.
The Secret Service is in town this week. They have their work cut out for them this week because when a shooting starts, they have to figure out if it's an assassination attempt or just a robbery or a carjacking or a gang war or a migrant squatter.
So the inclusion of migrant squatter at the end of this list should tell you all you really need to know about how Jimmy is on board with the right-wing anti-immigrant hysteria. Putting that as the tag at the end of this list is a choice that's right at home on Rumble. Now, that list of crimes he mentions are assassination attempt, robbery, carjacking, gang war, and migrant squatter. A migrant squatter isn't necessarily a crime, and robberies and carjackings don't necessarily include guns, but okay, we can work with this list. I'm not sure how many gang wars there have been in the past year, since I don't think that's a statistic that's well kept. But robbery and motor vehicle theft are actually two of the categories where the rates have gone down in 2024. The last assassination attempt happened in rural Pennsylvania. Two of these crime categories have gone down. One is the plot of the Warriors, and the other is not a crime. So, like, he's pandering. This is pandering to the Rumble audience.
Yeah, because any bit about the Secret Service is going to have to wind up with counterfeiting. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the joke of the Secret Service, is the inexplicability of them being tasked with protecting the president and also being like, hey, who's making fake money over here? You know, like, that's where your bit goes, not like, because why would the Secret Service give a shit about a carjacking?
It may, well, I mean, it's, in terms of the counterfeiting, it makes total sense. Presidents are on money.
Oh, that is a good point. You got to protect the president at all costs.
Right. It makes total sense. I don't know why you're confused.
That's a good point.
But Jimmy's construction of the joke is stupid and kind of belies a little bit of...
It's not funny. That's not a funny joke construction. It breaks the rule of threes. The fifth tag is the worst one because it doesn't even make any sense. And the audience clearly was trying to laugh after the fourth one.
Yeah, I mean, they started hot.
Yeah.
Like, you could hear at the beginning of the show, the audience is on board and ready for everything.
Yeah.
So that response is probably a little bit lukewarm.
On your second bit.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So Nancy Pelosi, right?
Sure.
Here's a bit about her.
Shit on her desk. Let's go.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard if Biden wasn't going to drop out, that Nancy Pelosi threatened to 25th Amendment him, and she was going to switch out his doctors with Matthew Perry's doctors. I don't know if you heard that.
I started lubing up a hammer.
Matthew Perry had a great life. He packs a lot of fun into those, 35 years or whatever.
What the fuck is happening?
35?
He looked horrible. I just thought he looked bad for his age.
That seems so mean for no reason.
What in God's name is going on here?
Matthew Perry had a really public struggle with drug addiction through his career. He was 54 years old when he died, and the story that Jimmy is riffing on is how ketamine dealers exploited his addiction for profit and have been charged in his death recently. Is Matthew Perry a shit lib? Was he part of planning the war in Ukraine? Like, I have no idea why he's getting this kind of shit, but I think Kurt's little riff there in the middle should tell you a little bit of something. Like, he's talking about Nancy Pelosi's husband being attacked by a right-wing media-addicted idiot wielding a hammer. Lube up the hammer.
Oh, okay.
Talking about Nancy Pelosi.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Now I understood that part. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
So incidentally, that guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer is doing 30 years in prison for that assault and 20 years of a concurrent sentence for attempted kidnapping, because that's what his plan was.
Right.
He was sure that the 2020 election had been stolen, so he was going to kidnap Nancy Pelosi and hold her hostage to get the truth revealed. From a KQED news article about that dude's trial, quote, he told the jury he came across most of his newfound political ideas after listening to mostly right-wing political YouTubers for entire weekends at a time and a minimum of 6 hours per day on weekdays, including James Lindsay, Jimmy Dore, and Glenn Beck. If I were named in that trial as one of the radicalizing influences of the perpetrator, I think I might think it's a bit like a good idea. Just keep it out of the riff catalog. Let's not go with Nancy Pelosi hammer jokes.
Man. This is wild because I don't know what funny is anymore. Like, I haven't been on stage we've been on stage, but I haven't been on stage solo as a comic, for a good 4 or 5 years, something like that. And this is trash.
It's rough.
I thought people were better. I thought people were good.
I think that there's the look. So here's where I'll get defensive.
Sure. Fair enough.
I'm Nancy Pelosi is like, you got to step down or else we'll replace your doctors with Matthew Perry's doctors.
Sure.
That has the structure of a joke. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it has the bare bones that you need to understand this is why he's making this joke. This is the what's behind it, where your mind's supposed to go. I get it. It's competent as a joke in that sense.
Sure.
It's not funny.
No.
It's mean.
Yeah.
And he flounders with, I just think he looks like shit for his age.
This is what I'm saying.
He doesn't. There's a shock value that I think he was hoping to get out of the, Matthew Perry's doctor reference.
Yeah.
Because it's distasteful and kind of being a dick.
Right.
And he got a little bit of that, but then didn't know where to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, this, but it's what I'm saying is just technical stuff and giving a fuck about what you're talking about. Like, if you're gonna do that bit, Nancy Pelosi threatened to use the 25th Amendment, and she hired Matthew Perry's doctors. She's not telling him anything. She's got that in her back pocket.
Why not?
So it's that kind of thing.
Why not do the threaten to use the 25th Amendment if he couldn't pass a test by Matthew Perry's doctors?
Sure, something like that.
Maybe where it's not because Matthew Perry becomes a butt of this joke.
Yeah,
in a way that
exactly.
He's the victim of these doctors.
Exactly.
It's mean.
It's wild because if you hire the doctors, then you're not saying oh, it's Matthew Perry's fault. You're saying these are murder doctors instead of and now we're going to switch him out for Matthew Perry's. That makes it sound
Yeah, it seems weird.
Yeah, it's fucking wrong, man.
So what do you think about Tim Walz? What do you think our boy Jimmy thinks about Tim Walz?
Let's see what the worst bit in the world is.
Did you hear about this? Did you hear he shook his wife's hand?
Oh,
did you hear this?
Oh, God.
Did you know that did you see this? So when Tim Walz was accepting his nomination to be vice president, he shook his wife's hand. Now, I don't want to judge somebody, but even the male boxer from the Olympics was like, hey, something's off about that guy.
Do you think he has 2 balls hidden above his vagina?
What?
Even Kamala's Indian mother was saying, I could have arranged a better marriage than that.
So this is pretty shocking, not because it's like edgy or anything, but because of how thin the facade has become.
Yeah, that is wild. That's just... Yeah.
If you look at that joke, what's happened in the real world is that Walz shook his wife's hand, which isn't an affectionate enough display for Dorr, apparently.
Sure, that's fine.
The angle he's taking is that Walz is maybe gay because he shook his wife's hand, and then as the punchline, Jimmy signals to the transphobic hysteria that broke out in the right wing about the Algerian boxer Iman Khalif. There's a pretense here. Jimmy's just doing right-wing grievance comedy.
Yeah.
His opening monologue is hitting all of the hot-button culture war issues that you might hear about on any of these right-wing shows or all over social media, and I kind of struggle to see what makes this perspective any different. Like, what is he doing that's any different?
What I don't understand about it is because this is the thing that I've noticed with this concept of like right-wing comedy is like, they just say the thing that was on Fox News, but then go, eh? Like, that's it. It's the same words with a different tone, and people laugh because they're like, I remember hearing that from the Fox News guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't understand where the bit is.
Well, I think, so Kamala's mom is Indian, and
No, that one's
sometimes
not
there
terrible.
are arranged marriages in Indian culture.
That one's not terrible. That makes sense, at
Kamala's
least.
mom could have arranged a better marriage between Tim Walz's wife and Tim Walz.
Sure.
Better partners for either of them because
Yeah.
Tim Walz isn't affectionate enough because he shook her hand.
See, but that part
And
doesn't
then
make sense.
maybe he's gay or a woman or something.
I mean, because you can tighten it down. You can be like, oh, they shook hands, probably because they are cold in bed or something. Kamala's mom could have arranged a better marriage. That at least has the structure and it makes sense like that. I have no idea where balls come in. And again, it's just like I'm saying the male boxer thing that you hear from the other places, so you laugh as though that's the joke.
Yeah, it also just doesn't hit because, like, he shook his wife's hand, but he also, like, hugged her and kissed her, and, like, Mike Pence already was weird.
Yeah.
Like, he already did kind of the standoffish, cold with his wife thing. Like, we already, like, the last time around, there was already this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't ring. It doesn't hit.
I think
Bad monologue joke.
This is the thing that gets me, is like, I might be a bad person because I will forgive a lot if the joke is good.
Mm-hmm.
The lucky thing about that is that I just don't have to forgive the right wing. They don't have good jokes.
Yeah. You can make up a lot if there's a fair amount of craft.
Yeah.
And it's just not present.
I've seen people be real pieces of shit in all different kinds of ways, but they were fucking funny, man. They were fucking funny.
And this is not.
This is not.
No. So I realized at a certain point that what was going on was that Jimmy was doing his opening monologue, and then he was sort of playing some clips from TikTok and complaining about them. And I kind of thought, like, isn't this what his show is?
Right.
Why is it Rumble Time?
This is Rumble Time.
Episode 1, when this is just kind of the same thing as his show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the riff train is
Sure.
It's chugging along.
Sure.
Because they found a clip of a person who's a doctor on TikTok saying that it's not necessarily bad if you're overweight.
Okay.
It's maybe not the most important thing for your health.
Sure.
You can be healthy.
Sure.
If you're overweight. And guess what? Not everybody has to be healthy. It is not a moral failure of some kind if they're, so anyway, they're all like, oh.
Live your fucking life.
They're very upset about this.
Sure.
And then I would say that the riff train goes a little bit off the tracks.
Uh-oh.
I think this doctor's making a killing off Ozempic. That's what I think. Yeah. I think she's like a doctor who I don't know. Anyway.
Was this before the Paris Summer Ozempics that we just had?
Yeah, I think so.
Boo!
Are we ready to go to our Zoom? Not yet? Okay. He'll give me a flash when Alex is on. Okay, Alex Jones is stiffing us right now. We'll see what happens. It's okay. I have it coming. I kind of stiffed him once. Anyway.
Someone in the audience yells, "We're here for you." That made me very sad.
That is sad.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Alex isn't on the Zoom when he's supposed to. Riff Train has totally derailed and come to a stop.
Combined with the Nevermind and the Summer Ozempics.
It's a pun.
That is tragic.
Yeah, and then the reassurance from the audience is nice, but it felt bad.
No.
Very empty.
I do not want reassurance from the audience because that means I need assurance from the audience. That's the wrong need to have if you're on a stage. Mm-hmm. It's a bad place to be.
I agree, but I kind of think it's sweet for that person.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
But it's also indicative of things not being where they need to be.
Yeah. Damning with faint praise doesn't do that justice.
Yeah.
No.
So we get another TikTok clip that Jimmy is upset about.
Jesus Christ.
Another person on TikTok.
I wish I was older, but somehow he's older than me, and he's playing TikTok clips.
Yes.
Christ.
And so this clip has to do with a woman who wanted some money from another parent.
Sure.
Because they had a play date and there were expenses.
Okay.
So this pisses Jimmy the fuck off.
Okay.
Some people saw this already? It sounds like some people saw this. So she's going to talk about play dates with her kids. And, well, buckle up.
We normalize sending the other family money for play dates. So recently, my daughter had a friend over, and I asked her mom for money, and this is how it went. So after the play date, I texted her mom and I said, "Thanks for letting Jamie play today. Please help out with your share of the expenses for the play date, totaling $15 via Venmo. Let's do it again sometime."
So she wanted her friend to pay $15 because she hosted her kid at a play date. And I don't know, can you imagine needing $15 this bad and not being addicted to crack?
Isn't Jimmy supposed to be really empathetic to the financial concerns of working people? Isn't he supposed to understand that economic pressures are serious right now and people are struggling to get through? Why is he specifically allotting time on his show to mock someone who's just saying that it would be nice if parents shared the expenses when their children hung out together? It's pretty implied that she's also saying that she would happily send this other parent $15 if her kid went over there and there were some kind of expenses. This really doesn't make sense as something that needs to be mocked. It's just some person on TikTok, so who cares? But even if you decide to care, the thing she's suggesting isn't that crazy. Maybe you believe that the host should always take on all expenses. That's a fine position to take, and I would have no problem with Jimmy arguing that. If he's like, it's your house, you pay for whatever when the kids come over. But it's such a weird angle for him to be like, how bad do you need $15 unless you're on crack?
Right?
What are you doing?
I have needed $15 so bad in so many different reasons and so many different times in my life.
Yeah. I know this shit that he's doing now is pretty lucrative, and so, he's probably very disconnected from what that's like.
Right.
But, mocking the idea of it is pretty fucking antithetical to what he's supposed to believe.
That is fucking... I can't imagine not getting the idea that if somebody needs $15, that's a more important person than you.
I mean, it's just mean, too. It's not like this person did anything to him. It's just a random person from TikTok. It's the same thing with the Matthew Perry thing. It's like, this is mean.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. So I think they go on to play more of this, and there are some things that are kind of mockable about what she's claiming as expenses.
Sure.
So, she says $1 for wear and tear on the couch, which is kind of bullshit. But things that were consumed and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it makes sense why, you would want, everyone to share expenses. It makes sense. It's not that weird. The thing that's mockable is some of the specifics of the expenses. Mm-hmm. But the premise itself is you would start going down this road and then be like, it's not worth it. It's whatever fun you can get out of the wear and tear on the couch or whatever, that kind of idea.
Right.
it's not worth the walk to get there.
Right.
Because in order to get there, you have to mock the premise of people needing $15.
Exactly.
And they must be crackheads, or else it's not okay to be poor. It's just weird.
Right. I mean, this is an unusual person with an unusual request. That's why you're watching it in the first place. You wouldn't be watching this TikTok. This TikTok wouldn't have come to your attention if it were a usual person. Mm-hmm. So that's already disqualifying towards you being like, why does this person... No, this is a very specific person. Mm-hmm. There's no need for you to generalize whatsoever. But even still... If you are going to generalize, what makes are specific. Mm-hmm. That's how you get to that generalization without being just a dick who's like, hey, have you seen that this group of people does this? You go like, this is a person who has $1 worth of wear and tear on her couch. What costs what for wear and tear? What if I came on her couch? How much does that cost me? I'll give you about $20 for that. You know, that's...
Right, they do get to the J.D. Vance of it all.
Exactly.
But
you get there eventually.
Yeah, and that is where there can be some fun, which is like line items on the invoice.
Exactly.
Yes. I think that like how much is wear and tear, that's a kind of fine territory for a joke. But in having a financial...
You can't fucking say you're black. You cannot do that as a rich white guy of privilege your whole life. The son of a governor. I am black. No, you can't say that.
He's a black refugee, Jimmy. It's different.
This is fun and all, but that was a speech that Cuomo gave in 2017.
Jesus Christ.
And it was at a press conference in response to Trump's attempt to bar people from 7 Muslim-majority countries from coming to the United States. That impression was fire, though.
I mean, hey, listen, if these guys are ready, I am also ready to dust off that Monica Lewinsky material, buddy.
We're close.
It's time.
We are quite close.
30 years, about time to bring it back. Jesus Christ.
And the premise of this bit seems to be, aren't the woke scolds gonna be mad about this? But you're imagining people being mad about it to be mad about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly innocuous sentiment to express. Like, if you're a New Yorker, then it transcends other stuff.
Right. There's a connection that we have despite differences because we're New Yorkers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
like that scene in Spider-Man.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is so that. He's just doing that. Are you mad at Spider-Man?
No, he's mad at the imaginary people who are mad about this that won't let Cuomo say something like this.
Fuck Cuomo. So, I'm fine with that. What are we doing?
Or the complaint is that it's pandery. And maybe. But it's also not. It's also from 2017.
It's a fucking speech from a politician. What do you expect? Hard-hitting facts?
Maybe. I think it's just basically fodder for the riff train.
Oh, God.
Keep the riff train rolling.
This is awful.
And as a New Yorker, I am poor.
All right.
That's fair. That is fair.
As a New Yorker, I am a bullshitter.
Listen, your money doesn't go a long way in New York. I can tell you that.
And as a New Yorker, I am homeless.
That's true also.
As a New Yorker, I am poor and homeless because my governor cut Medicaid funding right before a pandemic.
No, I'm homeless because I got kicked out of the governor's mansion.
And as a New Yorker, I am an elderly person that I killed.
As a New Yorker, I stand on my yacht flipping off poor people. Fuck you!
So they really made a meal out of this 7-year-old Cuomo clip, which seems relevant. But the larger issue I have is that Jimmy is so indignant there at the end about Cuomo mocking the poor from his yacht, but he just spent his own time on stage shitting on a random person on TikTok who suggested parents share the financial burdens of hosting play dates for their kids. He's literally mocking the idea of not having $15 to spare as something that only makes sense if you're on crack. He has no coherent position here. It's all just bluster. And sure, shitting on Cuomo's fun, and I have no interest in defending him, but Jimmy lacks a core here. There's no point to this.
There's no point of view.
They also seem to be mocking Cuomo from 2017 about decisions he made in 2020, which I guess is why it's important to pretend that this video is current, and that's why you're upset about it, but I think it just maybe made the rounds on right-wing social media.
What are those riffs, man? Y'all supposed to be funny. You're all supposed to have been doing this for a long time.
Yep. I think there's just more anger, maybe.
I mean, I get it. It's hard to be funny. It's hard. I'm not gonna be funny because I'm terrible. But I mean, this is just tragic.
It's there's some problems.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But thankfully, business picks up about an hour in.
Oh my God, an hour in? Alex was supposed to be there in 10 minutes.
I know, but he shows up about an hour in.
Okay.
And so Jimmy kisses his ass a little bit.
Oh my God.
We've come to that magical moment where our guest has arrived, and everybody's excited, I'm sure. Man, in all of social media, he is like Kreskin in a soothsayer. Everything he says at some point comes true. He's about 10.5 million times more accurate than CNN, New York Times. Let's hear it for the one and the only Alex.
It really happened. Even the New York Times said it.
You see me, brother? No, I want to be on with you, but...
Alex, can you turn on your video? Do you know how to do...
You know, I've been trying to connect for a while, but I'm too stupid. Like you say, I make all the predictions, but I can't seem to do that. I've been trying to do it here for about 10 minutes. Sorry I'm late.
Can you turn Alex on the monitor? Because I can't hear him. Can you turn him on? All right.
My bad. You got me. I missed son. My bad.
All right.
There he is.
What a build-up you gave me. It's not to be here.
Yeah, so we got Rex for a second, and then Alex is sort of choppy, cutting in and out. But he's there. They got him.
Oh, boy.
They got him.
Ugh.
The soothsayer.
I think being on a screen on stage is my nightmare. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that combination of being trapped in a weird little room by yourself and the pressure of trying to make a large group of people laugh who you will then not receive the laughs from.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, but apparently I don't. Alex spent all his travel budget on going to California to pretend to cover Bohemian Grove, so he couldn't come to Chicago for the DNC.
Yeah, there is that.
So, that's nightmarish. I agree with you. And also, I don't know how to deal with the way that Jimmy's introducing him. Like, is that a joke?
What is Rumble Time?
I don't know.
I want a pen for my drawing pad that has a scroll wheel. That would be perfect. Just a little thumb scroll wheel. And then I could do more with the pen and not have to switch to the mouse, which my cat is sitting on. Bad kitties.
Is the joke supposed to be that Alex is, like, we're saying he's 10 million times more right than all of these other places?
Sure.
Because you're supposed to understand that he's not.
Right.
But I don't think that's the case.
No, I mean, hyperbole is generally, I like to engage in hyperbole in order to demonstrate the opposite of something being true.
Right.
Right. Otherwise, I would just say an accurate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's a waste of everybody's time.
In this case, I think it's hyperbole meant to just be like, you're supposed to believe he's 10 times more accurate than the...
Right.
I don't know,
Oh,
man.
man.
It's strange.
Jesus.
So here's where we start with their little interview session.
Okay.
I wanted to get your take. I just saw the new released body cam from Trump's assassination attempt. And did you see that where the one police officer was saying, aren't we all on the same frequency? I warned you there was a guy up here. How come nobody did anything? Let me just get your take on all that happened at Trump's assassination.
Well, it was 100% a total stand down on record. We know that now. You don't have all these coincidences lining up like this. We've had the deep state openly saying they want to kill Trump. And the fact is...
Anomaly, but it's not the smoking gun that this whole thing was a setup. The way that Alex and Jimmy are presenting it as.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading an article about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. It's like, you can't just let there be one...
that's
band,
not how it
radio band
works.
that everything is on.
Yeah. Because then everybody can hear it.
Yeah, it was like, oh wait, that makes total sense.
Yeah. It's not like they have super special encrypted radio frequency.
You can't just let anyone into one. It's much more complicated than it appears to be. But if you just look at it from a really superficial level, it's like, why weren't they all in the same
sure
little hole?
I have a question. Is the comedy portion over, or was it always supposed to be never this. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this show supposed to be?
I don't know. I mean, like, I obviously don't think that the beginning comedy portion was not going to happen.
Sure.
I think maybe most of that was supposed to happen after Alex, because they do get back to that after he leaves.
Yee.
But I think, I don't know. I don't know, man.
So this is
an interview segment,
yeah,
for sure.
So this is our just totally straight-faced interview segment, but we've been funny and derogatory towards all these people. So we've got that context.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got Alex fucking Jones there, which to me is like there's only one way to combine those two, which is to say that we're going to make fun of Alex Jones.
It could be. I mean, it would be a way to go about it. Another way to go about it would be get Alex's take on how ugly Matthew Perry was.
But
get Alex in on the beating up people unnecessarily.
God. Oh God, no! That's the last thing we need. More riffing.
No, I think it's hey, this is an interesting guy. It'll excite this live audience.
Where are we?
Chicago.
No, I mean, where are we in Chicago? What's the venue?
I don't remember.
Fair enough.
It's on Halstead somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
Fair enough.
But I think it is just a straight up interview.
So this guy was totally protected. He was trained at a major Homeland Security training facility that trains Homeland Security. He was there 40 plus times. So yeah, I mean, when you have all these coincidences all lining up the same way, they're not a coincidence.
And so what do you make that they already burned his body?
Yeah, they cremated his body. And notice there were no press conferences.
So, like, the whole thing here is laundering Alex as a prophet and that he's right about stuff and taking him seriously. Like, if you're one of Jimmy's fans and you hear Alex say the shooter was trained at a Homeland Security facility, you've already been told by Jimmy that this dude sees the future and he's always proven right about stuff, so this must be a big deal. I bet you'd imagine some kind of documents that Alex has about the program where this guy was trained at a military installation or some kind of base. He wouldn't just make this kind of claim about meaningless pieces of trivia. But that's exactly what he's doing. Being trained at a Homeland Security facility is a claim that Alex can back up by showing that the shooter went to the Clarion Sportsman Club, that 2,000-plus member shooting range, which also has law enforcement agencies use it for shooting training from time to time. This is the most inconsequential piece of evidence that's being used to make a very unsupported claim, and Jimmy has more or less insisted that the audience should blindly accept Alex's version of the story. Crooks's body, the shooter, was turned over to his family, as pretty much always the case with these sorts of things. The police and FBI collected and processed the evidence they needed, and then 10 days later, he was released to the family so they could do what they needed to do for themselves. This is all normal, but the whole thing that Alex and Jimmy are responding to is based on Representative Clay Higgins deciding he should go to Butler and poke around the site, play detective for himself. When he found that the body was gone, he made a big stink about it, and idiots like Alex and Jimmy are turning it into proof of a cover-up. This is nonsense. So his body was cremated because the family decided to, because the FBI released the body to the family. It's nonsense.
I mean, so what they would prefer is that he was buried, so then they could exhume him, presumably, and that would be dramatic, right?
I mean, I guess they'd probably find a way to have a problem with that, too.
Right,
because the family probably wouldn't allow them to.
Yeah.
Go
So
through the
why
courts
is it? Because it's a cover-up. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, everything that, every little piece of detail that conforms to your conclusion is evidence, and it's exaggerated into being smoking guns.
Yeah.
And anything that is inconvenient is just proof of how elaborate the cover-up is.
Yeah.
Like, when you can never, ever prove anything as a false flag, like Alex, that's just a testament to how good they are at covering up false flags. It's perfect. It's a great system.
Like, they know that, like, bodies decompose, I mean, sure, but how long do you keep it in the freezer? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long do you get to keep the body in the freezer before you're like, hey, we got the attempted assassin guy. Are we going to send him home at any certain point in time?
Weeks later, if somebody decides that they want to do their own little investigation.
That's not how that works.
Hercule Poirot this thing.
No.
Then it turns out any time before that is too early.
That seems crazy to me.
It does.
Just what do you want? I want you to freeze this body so anybody at any point in time in the future can randomly go, ha, the fingernail.
Well, because everyone is entitled to do their own investigation.
I mean, that is
of
true.
every crime.
That's true. Obviously, we all know that. I've seen Law and Order.
It's wild.
That is crazy.
So the topic of Biden comes up, of course.
Sure.
And so Jimmy asks him a little question.
Ooh.
So, do you have any inside info on what happened with Biden and his reported medical emergency in Las Vegas?
Well, I was told, Charlie Kirk told the people that I know, like the day it happened, there had been a medical emergency, and then weeks later it came out that there was a medical emergency, and then Biden was flown to Delaware for 7-8 days, wasn't seen. And then now even Pelosi's covered her butt and said, well, I saw the letter from Biden, the resignation. It looked like it was from him. Well, it didn't even have a presidential seal. The signature was the same. So it looks to me, I mean, we speculate that they didn't give him the drugs normally on, or they slipped him something, or he had a real medical emergency, or he has medical problems, and then they just basically held him until he agreed. And when he showed up 7 days later, he kind of shuffled on to Air Force One in Delaware, and they said, well, why did you stand down? Why are you giving up? And he said he didn't even agree to it. And now he's done interviews and said he's basically forced out by the Democratic Party. So I mean, we can talk about Biden evidence of stealing the election all day long. You can still debate that. But you can't debate that Kamala Harris got as many votes in the primary as Ronald McDonald.
So Jimmy asking the question, hey, what are your inside secret info about this? The question presupposes that he's willing to believe that Alex has some of that information, which is already starting off on the wrong foot. You shouldn't even trust Alex to accurately convey publicly available information, let alone mysterious behind-the-scenes gossip that he's probably just getting from social media. So on July 5th, noted bigot and loser Laura Loomer posted on Twitter that Biden had a medical emergency on board Air Force One. There's no evidence that this was the case, but it was exciting. So people reposted it, and it went around. People denied Loomer's bullshit, but she shot back that it was all true because Biden was canceling events mysteriously. The event that he canceled was a July 7th National Education Association staff union meeting, which he decided not to attend after the union announced it was going on strike. It was solidarity and not crossing a picket line that canceled that event, not this medical emergency. Biden still did other events in the same time frame, but it doesn't matter. The narrative stuck with the right-wing dipshit crowd, and they all kind of just ran with it. There's some real problem. Would need to have been drugging up and holding Biden hostage from the 5th to about the 21st, demanding that he step down or else. And that didn't happen.
Right.
There was a NATO summit.
Yeah, there was
that
whole thing that he was there for.
Yeah, and Alex covered on his fucking show.
Yeah.
Also, Alex references that Pelosi said a particular letter didn't sound like Biden. He wants you to think that she was talking about the letter where Biden dropped out of the race.
Right.
In the real world, Pelosi was talking about a prior statement that Biden had released, signaling his intention to stay in the race. That's the one that she said didn't sound like him.
Right.
Alex is playing a little bit of sleight of hand here. He's mixing up these details because what really happened is meaningless to him. Jimmy is encouraging his free-thinking-oriented audience to engage with reality the same way Alex does, which is pretty sad and not connected to anything.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I don't understand. I suppose I just don't understand. I mean, okay, maybe it's just we got to fill content somehow, but what are we doing? What are we doing still? What are they doing talking about Biden? You're wasting all of your time and energy, man.
Because they're afraid that there's a decent chance that Kamala will win, and they need to invalidate her presidency somehow.
Sure.
And they're trying everything. They're trying she wasn't born here, birther stuff.
Sure.
They're trying, she stole the nomination.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, who cares?
Exactly.
For them. They're not talking to me. They're talking to their crowd.
No, they're laying track in advance for bullshit, trivial Senate inquiries down the road if Harris wins in order to clog up the system and make sure that nothing gets done. That's the kind of thing that these narratives serve.
Sure.
I think.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm not entirely sure what Jimmy's interest in all this is outside of Alex is a lightning rod for attention, so
yeah.
I'll get some of that.
I mean, did people go to this venue to hear an interview with Alex? They knew.
One person yelled, "We came to see you," so
right.
I assume they came to see Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Tell me, I understand it if there's a good story, Biden's actually been dead for 2 years. This is a clone. He's plumping, like any number of different exciting things, you know. If there's a health emergency, that's when they switched him out for the real one or the not real one or whatever.
Well, Metzger seems to think that there's a couple of
See,
Bidens.
great. That's fine, because then I guess that it's just a fun thing to talk about. But if it's like an attack on the political system, like, you're late. It is late. You're a month late, man.
I think that I think that you could almost take a really, really cynical approach to Jimmy having Alex on the show.
Yeah.
I think that, obviously when Alex has been on Rogan or when he's done Tucker Carlson, you do see a huge boost in these kinds of numbers.
And
I
it's
think
the first episode of Rumble Time.
Right, and I think that you probably have an expectation that, like, okay, this will work well in my advantage.
Right.
And then Alex, like, it's obvious what his agenda is.
Right.
So I think that they're using each other,
Right.
kind of.
Right. I wish that their agenda was similar to ours insofar as it should be to put on a good show.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
It doesn't feel like they're trying.
No, it's not a good show. But there's the appearance of trying to make some agenda overlap.
Sure.
And I think that that's where I find any kind of interestingness in this.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy does have this brand of, like, I'm attacking from the left or whatever.
I guess.
But he's not.
No.
He's very much not.
No.
His co-host is sitting there in an LGBT CIA shirt.
Yeah.
They're making transphobic jokes. They're everything is incredibly about exclusion of folks.
Yeah.
There's beating up on people for their poverty. Like, this is not a politics that I associate with the left at all. No. But there is a feeling of that is where he's supposed to be coming from.
Right.
And so I think that there's an attempt at that, but it's very dissonant.
It's just wild because they're just regular ass 1950s racists. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the people who wanted to go see a show.
I think they got what they wanted.
You're probably right.
So there's a couple moments that I think are really interesting that transcend how stupid both of these people are and how dumb this conversation is.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And it's Jimmy asking Alex, hey, Trump didn't do any of the shit that you wanted him to do.
Right.
So you support him.
Right.
Do you actually think he's going to do any of the shit that you want him to do?
Good question.
Right.
When Trump actually was president, it seems to me he didn't do many of the things he said he was going to do. He didn't give everybody health care he said he would. He didn't bring back jobs to America like he said he would. He didn't drain the swamp. In fact, what he did was he put them all in his goddamn cabinet, right? So, and he didn't pardon Snowden, he didn't pardon Julian Assange, and he didn't release the JFK files, and he didn't lock up Hillary Clinton or prosecute any of those people. He didn't do anything, he said.
So why are you simping for him, Jimmy? Jimmy is such a fucking tool. God. So I had a look, and what I think I thought is that I'm going to make a big document here. Yeah, I'm going to make a big document. I'm going to put Alex's desk in the middle of this big document. And then I'm going to draw and fill out the rest of his studio. So we're going to figure out how, like, what his studio is going to look like. So, like, if you take the classic Alex at his desk scene that I have, let's say this, for example. What would this look like if we zoomed way out? Okay. So let's grab. We need the apple juice. We need the desk. Let's just get this whole group and then we'll sort it out over here. All right. So we don't need this. We will save this in network speech as Alex desk wide shot. And we're going to remove the background. We're going to center. Oh, let's remove all these. Oops. Let's remove all these frames. No, actually, let's keep that last one. I like this face. So we'll remove all these frames and all of these and all of these. I don't want multiple frames. I just want a still. So remove those, remove that, remove that. Okay. And right now the desk is just like a sliver, a little line here. So let's center this. Layers will also be transformed. What invisible sublayers do I have? Oh, it's a reference. Yep. Reference. Nope, don't need it. What is this? That's nothing. Don't need it. That's nothing. Don't need it. So I might even put them in the middle. And since I'm recording time lapse, this might be, could be fun to do like, okay, so if I make a layer group at the top of this group, and I set this to be an erase layer, that means I can just draw on it regularly and it'll act like an eraser. But if I erase too much, I can erase the eraser, right? And bring back the original image. It's a really, really good tip for working if you're trying to do something like this, where like erasing stuff or like cutting things out, because you can just easily undo and it's non-destructive to your original image. And you can play around with different brush strokes or brush shapes, you know? Like I could speckle erase or like paintbrush erase. It's pretty cool. And then if you don't like it, erase your erases. It's kind of a fun little thing. So what I want to do, so I thought, is since this is making a folder of like every second that I'm drawing on this, it's taking a JPEG image. So as I work on this project, I'll have this big huge folder full of JPEGs that will track the progress of it. And when you play it really fast, it's this cool kind of time lapse. So what if we started? Let's start with blanking out his face. But not his head. Okay, so here's how you do that. We will make a specific clipping group just for the face, right? And just to keep this track, I'm going to make all these red. Let's... No, not the beard. This one will be for the head. Actually, no, like, let's do this. Group those. This will be my erase. Think how I want to do this. All right, let's try this. Let's not do that one yet. First, I'll erase. Okay, like this. So then I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go through and undo all these erases, right? And then it'll look kind of like he's getting painted in. So let's do this one. That's the other arm. Let's do the apple juice. Boom, boom, boom. Where's the stackies? Same layer. Okay, that's good. Erase. And we just got this blue AJ, that's his body. Let's make it red. Image. And what I can do, start going through these and erasing my erases, which will make it look like he's getting drawn on. And then, so all these should be pinned. You should be pinned. You should be pinned. You should be pinned. You should be pinned. They'll all be pinned to the timeline. Not because I'm animating them, just because I don't want to lose where they are. Okay. Okay, it's recording. Now, what am I going to do? Let's do something like this brush here. And we will erase the erases. What should we erase first? I'm thinking the desk and the stackies. So, I don't remember where it was. Something around here. There we are. I'm just going to slowly kind of paint this over and reveal it. And we're going to get a nice time-lapse animation. It will be on a white background. Maybe we should put the background red first. To be honest, I might actually prefer that. What is that red color? I want to pull it from over here. I should be able to save like colors and stuff in. There's ways of doing that. I'm bad at that. I just usually like get a reference, and then I all I do on Krita is I hold Control, and that is my this tool that will basically select whatever color you're pointing at, which is nice. All right, it's got this kind of phase thing on it. All right, let's try this. Maybe we'll start the animation here with just the background coming up. And then let's do a dark gradient. But I want to do it a little different. I want it to be overlay dark, which can kind of make it cool because it's sort of like it increases the saturation while making it darker, and it gives it this more rich sort of thing. So like I'm not sure exactly how it works. I'm just gonna pick a random color. We can kind of fuck with it, but I go to gradient, do a linear gradient, and when you draw a line, it's going to make a gradient. Okay, there's the linear. Maybe I want the bilinear. Let's see, what does that do? Okay, yeah, that kind of just puts like a streak in the middle. Let's make it even darker. Not too dark. Maybe less dark. What am I doing? That. It's pretty good. So let's invert that. So very subtle kind of shape there. Okay. Now, the first thing we'll reveal is the desk. Where'd it go? There it is. Do the desk first, then we'll do the apple juice. What the heck? Oh. Why is it all the way over there? Oh, I had other fucking... Oh, fuck. Alright, I'm just gonna have to do some editing on this sequence thing. Alright. What layer am I on? Oh, I'm on the desk. I was erasing the actual original. I want to erase the mask. All right. Now the apple juice. Now let's do Alex's body. And let's do that right arm. And let's get the left arm. And then let's try his stupid fucking head. All right. Now, let's get his face. Kind of start with the eyes, if we can find them. Like that. All right, now let's do the beard. And the hair. It's in the same layer. This is great. So all I'm doing is erasing the erase marks that I made before. So he's all set now. So now what's the plan from here is to sort of expand on the desk and then kind of figure out what's going on in his background. So let's make a new layer under the desk. And we'll just kind of start filling it out. All right. We'll dive back into Jimmy Bohr, the dummy dumb.
So, what do you think if he becomes president, do you think that he's going to do any of those things in his second term?
Look, I'm not giving Trump a pass.
Yes, you are.
He's not from the Washington machine. He was open about how, as a major real estate owner, he gave money to both parties. And he was very, very ignorant and naive when he came in. Then when these politicians and politicos lied to him and said that they were going to be loyal and do what he wanted, that they were actually that. So he pulled from the system. And, I mean, I think now he's going to be different. But certainly Trump has major blind spots. He supported Operation Warp Speed, the poison shots, and all the rest of it. So I don't think Trump is some panacea here. But permanent Washington, the Republican and Democrat establishment does not like Trump because he's an outsider. Nixon had big problems, but the system got rid of him because he tried to be president. And so the permanent bureaucracy doesn't like presidents. They're actually presidents. They like puppets, like a Biden who doesn't even know what planet he's on. So they can do whatever they want and then just use the front man, come in, be sued as a placeholder. Now Kamala Harris is a perfect example of that. So
the beautiful thing about this bit of recording,
he worships Trump. I didn't believe the whole Q thing that he was invincible, and there's all these good guys in government. I think we're in the latter stage of the decay of an empire right now, and I do think Trump is better on cutting back on war than the Democrats and the neocons. So because of that, I overall support Trump.
So you can see how Alex engages differently with different audiences.
How's that look
I
for
think
his
he has
desk?
enough instincts and not enough apple juice in him to know that if he started rambling about how the
When I'm
literal
recording
devil
it,
is trying to
kind of
terraform the world
changes
so his
how I
demonic
think
minions
about,
can breathe in a carbonless atmosphere and how Trump will save the world by burning more fossil fuels and
because
polluting
I
more,
want it
the
to
audience
sort
is
of
probably
look
going to
good
think he's
as
an
it's getting
insane idiot.
drawn.
So he moderates
And
his
I don't
image
wanna
to
do
become
a
more
lot of,
acceptable,
like,
and in doing so, he has to take on the mantle of a lesser of two
one thing
evils guy.
For a long
This is the
time,
guy Jimmy
and then
wants to
erase it.
sell to the audience, too.
Like,
So he
I
doesn't
might do
mind
that.
Alex lying to the audience's face. Or quite honestly, Jimmy probably has no
But
idea
I
what
can
Alex
edit
actually
around those
believes.
as well,
More
and I get
likely,
the
Alex
sequence I
knows
can
that
just
the
pull up
version of himself Jimmy wants to be there. He knows what that is, and he's being that because this shit's a game. And sure, Trump didn't do a lot of that stuff, but you're a goddamn idiot if you're just sitting there trying to pretend Trump didn't do anything in his term. He
I'm
may
gonna
not have
do
done
this
all the things that he
background. So
did to keep
basically,
the
I
dum-dums
think
chanting and clapping on the campaign trail, but he
I wanna
definitely
draw, like,
appointed
a
3
camera on
unacceptable
this
Supreme Court
foreground
justices
here,
who overturned Roe
pointing
v.
at
Wade,
Alex.
along with countless other decisions
Where would
they've
it
made
be,
and
what would
will
that
make that
perspective
roll
look
back all kinds of civil protections Jimmy's supposed
So
to
if we
care
assume
so
he's
much
at a
about,
square
most
desk that's
that
square
play
to
into
the,
the advantage of corporations, which Jimmy is supposed to be opposed to.
the camera.
Jimmy is invested in making Trump out to be just another
here, right?
politician
So would that
because that's an
vanishing point be
improvement in his image. Treating Trump like a threat to all our public
here,
safety
like
makes
that?
him a pretty much unsellable candidate, which
These are the
sucks for him.
questions
The whole
I
brand
have.
is shitting on Democrats and pretending to attack them from the left, but with
And
right-wing positions. So the
not
thing that the Democrats are
great
fighting
at
can't
this kinda
possibly
thing.
be something that you
At least
actually need to
I've
fight too.
never
It has to just
learned
be an
it.
illusion, just another politician with big promises
beyond
that doesn't do anything.
kind of
With
basic
Trump,
level.
from most of Jimmy's audience,
I have
that's a
problems
comforting thought. With Harris and the Democrats, the audience fears
perspective
that they
when
would just be another normal
have
politician.
things that are
They would
not
say the right things and inspire
simply
hope that
perfect
things could be
cues
better, and then just
and
be another
rectangles.
establishment hack. With Trump, the fear is that he's not.
So, like,
The
I need
fear
to make
is that he
something
means what he's
into a
saying and will try
rectangle
to assert dictatorial-type powers.
to be able
By
to wrap my
lambasting
head around
Trump
what
as
the
just another
perspective should
politician,
look like.
Jimmy's actually doing amazing PR work for
that
Trump
something?
among this kind of disaffected,
that was
pretending
the
to be
desk-
left-wing audience.
Sure.
Because it's like, okay,
lines would
yeah,
still
on
be
this one
vertical.
side, we have the
This line
things that
should
we
be
want to hear
parallel.
and the disappointment
But
of
you
all
have a
those
nice,
things not magically happening.
Yeah.
On this side,
as
we
well,
have
called a
a
parallel
normal
ruler.
politician would be like,
And I can
he's
put
just
this
talking
along
shit
this
about all the
line.
stuff that, strips people of
should be
rights
Sure.
and is all scary.
Yeah, I'm
so that
I'm
it snaps
just
to
I'm blown
assistance.
away. I have no idea
And then I
where
can
everybody
only
is
draw
coming
lines
from
that are
here.
parallel to
I don't
that.
know who's what is everybody, like I want to know what people
and then
want out of this. So
here's the
like
same
if
for
Jimmy
this
Dore is trying to launder Alex,
here.
right? What does he want? He wants
now I
like
can just
numbers or whatever.
parallel
Yeah.
to
I
that.
guess. So that's
I
why
think
you
so.
have Alex on. Alex wants to get some of Jimmy Dore's
this'll be,
audience.
And
down.
create theocracy, basically.
Sure.
Like all political motion towards that while selling pills.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what is up with these people, man? What are they up
Keyboard
to?
I think
shortcuts.
that a lot of them probably have some
about the
positions
keyboard
that aren't well
shortcuts.
represented by some parties.
Sure.
And some of them are
They make
right
all
winger
this
than they
process so
realize,
much
probably.
nicer.
Yeah.
But I also think that what is going on here, the essential dynamic that I find interesting is that you have the same. I think the motivations
So
come from the same
keyboard
place
shortcuts
as a
I
lot
used
of the
just there
media.
was
Sure.
N
You know, a lot of the media
for
is
all of
invested in
my,
making a horse race
absolutely.
out of the
assistant
presidency
tools
and the
drawing,
election
guidance
because
and stuff
you
like
know
that.
you're selling a
can
product.
Yeah, they're
Snap
going to
selling
work hard to make Trump palatable for
pencils.
us.
Right. It's
Yeah.
To those assistants
as
with
much
H,
as some of the
on
race
off.
is fairly close. It will be
F,
closer
I
in
can
the eyes of the
fill-
media
fill tool,
because
V,
that
back
is
to
in
the
their best
brush.
interest for ratings,
hold
all kinds of
V,
things.
Totally.
We've seen this play out
Then I
over
got
and over
line
again
tool.
when
boy.
Trump should be
And if I
dealt
hold
with
shift
in a
while
way that
holding
is
V,
much harsher.
I can do
The reality
perfect
of what he
horizontal
does and how he behaves, the things he
vertical
says, are
lines.
unacceptable within
So I
this
get
realm.
those.
And the fact that he is even treated as a viable
Let's see what else. If I push
person
A, I
who
get
people
a
should be
lasso, and I can
rallying behind
grab a piece
is
of
the bias.
something and move it
This is
around,
the same thing,
or cut
I
it out,
think, with Jimmy.
make a selection.
Making Trump just another politician
S
is a way to
gives
make
me
it
my
closer to a
transform
horse
tool.
race
Sure.
between these two options.
Ugh.
It's that they're both bad in the same
And
way, as opposed to they're
my
both viable
favorite
alternatives to each other in the media. Because otherwise, what
instead
is
of
the content you're going to
Control
make?
Z,
You know, you have to
Yeah.
make there be
undo,
some sort of tension,
I
and the
just
only way
push
to
Z.
do that is to make Trump a viable viable option, and Trump's a
Not
viable
Hamas.
option if everybody's
Just
shit.
see. 'Cause it's
you
like,
know, I
why
think
else would I be hitting Z?
maybe
You know, I'm not
we
typing.
gave them
And
too much of a pass
honestly,
in 2016.
It doesn't do that when you have to
because
type
it was like for
words
most of us, it was the first
into,
time
like, a
we had
text
experienced
box.
this level of Nazi washing. I don't know what to tell you.
in that case.
But I mean, for
If
them
I'm
to do it
drawing,
now,
I don't
that's
want to
egregious
hit
shit.
two
That
buttons. I
is
just wanna
truly
Z.
egregious.
Yeah, and to play this game that Alex is trying to play with, like, I just kind of, on a balance, I think he's less likely
Just
to
a
make
little
war.
bit of time.
Yeah,
but
I have.
So
where I prefer it. What is going on?
Beautiful.
You could carpet bomb the whole place and win, but then people wouldn't like you.
It just doesn't get better than that. Yeah.
Because I think that fundamentally, Alex would be totally fine with
headphones
an
are
extermination of a people if there wasn't consequences like immigration.
Yeah, 100%.
And
I mean, why else? Yeah.
That's something that comes through in his comments.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy wants to know about, we're going to have another COVID? We're doing COVID again?
Oh, my God.
Well, Alex, I wanted to ask you, do you have any inside info? They're ramping up their fear-mongering again about COVID and
both sides, lesser of two evils kind of thing, because Trump supported and brought us the vaccine. These people have seen such a profit motive in demonizing the vaccine and creating hysteria around it, and people took that seriously. People died because they believed the right-wing storylines about COVID, and now Alex wants to pretend, well, Trump's pretty good on the issue. It's not an issue. It's a mass murder biological weapon plot. I think that it's pretty likely that one of Trump's biggest liabilities is the anti-vax fervor that his base has rallied around. It was so profitable and so easy to organize around that they couldn't resist it, but now it's also disqualifying for the candidate that they want to defend as the lesser of two evils. And it just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's the one. This is the one that is amazing to me that people get like twisted up on, because it to me, it just like, I get, the morality of being like, foreign wars are bad. That's how it works, and people should do that stuff. But ostensibly, the idea of borders and nations is that sooner or later they'll be our enemy anyway. So who fucking cares? What matters for your government that you're choosing is that they don't poison you. Like, isn't that the number one? Like, hey, first off, government, don't poison me. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
Right?
a big one.
Like, I don't go murder other people. That's bad. I understand that. But, the government is our government, and there are other people.
Not responding in an ideal way to foreign tensions and things that happen around the world that sometimes you have an influence in and sometimes you wish you had more of an influence in, or whatever. Not responding in a perfect way, obviously, you want to be against.
Sure.
Creating a bioweapon and then attacking the entire it's a different kind of thing.
It's just it seems insurmountable to me, and somehow they're surmounting it.
No, it is for a lot of people, and I think that's why Trump's not going to get all of RFK's followers.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that because it was so profitable and because they were able to use it so well, a lot of people are true believers in a way that Trump cannot reach now. And I think that's sort of the way that the knife cuts the other direction a little.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So Jimmy has another decent question, and that is that, hey, Trump wants to make this whole border thing. Do you think that's just going to be an excuse to do surveillance shit?
Sure.
And Alex, he should be worried about this.
This should be disqualified.
So, do you fear that if Trump becomes president and he goes to secure the border, he's going to do it with what Whitney Webb talks about, with surveillance and facial recognition? It's going to be an electronic wall instead of an actual wall, which is just going to mean mass surveillance for everybody. Do you fear that?
Yeah, I mean, Ron Paul always said when they build a wall, it's going to be to keep us in. For it, it's not to make you face scan to get on an airplane. So this stuff's already here, and so I'm not saying we should capitulate to it. But we have to cut the incentives off to tell the world they can just come here for free when we're going bankrupt. And we have corporations want cheap labor, and you've got the different the different NGOs that are making the lion's share of the money off servicing all of these migrants.
Yeah, so that's the way that Alex answers this question. Fuck immigrants.
Wild.
Everything about his career should lead him to say, Yes, and it is too risky to ever allow someone like Trump to put something like that in place. We assume good intentions, sure.
Sure.
But everybody does right before everything goes wrong.
It shouldn't just be that, but like, hey, if you have your guy do a thing, it's also important to remember that 4 years later, a different guy might then have that same power to do that same thing, and you might not like that guy.
True.
That's the idea.
And Alex's career is largely based on all kinds of absurd, well, if we allow this, then what, kind of thing. And for him to be like, they already face scan you at the airport.
Yeah, I mean,
so the opposite of what his entire world is based on.
It is so like I want to have some sort of shock collar installed in me now that I can program, because like this is everything. Like just listening to this is everything that he is not supposed to be.
No.
I mean, he's not supposed to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have to like have a shock collar now just to make sure that at no point in time in the future will I slide into this trash.
Trump murdered everyone with the vaccine, but he meant well, and he was just tricked by everyone around him. So we should give him another shot.
No!
He is the lesser of two evils in terms of war and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also he's probably going to do a bunch of wars.
I mean,
yeah, sure. There is a high-tech surveillance tyranny that is going to be implemented by the border.
You're the Mark of the Beast guy.
Yeah, but look, they already scan you at the airport.
You're the Mark of the Beast guy.
Oh, well.
You see, this is it's crazy.
It reveals the insincerity of a lot of the positions that Alex has built his entire brand around.
Totally.
And I don't think that Jimmy is meaning to reveal these things
right.
or anything, but it lays it pretty bare.
Ugh.
So Jimmy talks a little bit about how he's not the outsider that he once was.
Because he was already the goddamn president.
That's true. And I would describe Alex on his backest of back feet.
Okay.
Dave Smith tweeted out today that he thought it was a mistake for, he says, the problem with Trump calling the Democrats communists and Marxists, aside from being inaccurate and making him sound like a grandpa arguing in the 1940s, is the framing. He says between his position on Israel, COVID, and even his praising of the Secret Service, when Trump calls his opponents Marxists, he positions himself as a defender of the establishment, guarding against the radicals. That was never the appeal of Donald Trump. People supported him because he represented a repudiation of the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, and the corporate media. He was a giant middle finger to the establishment. So do you think it's...
I think it's...
Go ahead.
I mean, I know where you're going. And I think it's very fair to say this is a more establishment Trump than we saw 8 years ago or 4 years ago. And I think that's his advisors telling him to be more of an establishment Republican. And I don't think that's wise. I think he should be the bomb thrower politically. For the media quotes me on that, the term bomb thrower being, he should be the outsider, the populist, the maverick, which he never, as you say, completely delivered on, but the system sees him as that, and now he is definitely, he should be going after Kamala Harris and Biden for getting almost all the big corporate donations and all the big BlackRock money, and instead he is acting like they're Bernie Sanders, and then some leftist at a university, and that's not who they are. I mean, they are military-industrial complex puppets. So the big appeal of Trump was being, anti-war compared to them and going against the establishment. That's still the big appeal that they've tried to put him in jail and take him off the ballot, kill him. But that is being outweighed in many ways by what you're saying. And I tried to be a big Trump supporter, but I'm not loyal opposition or whatever. I just sit there, trying to talk about him, but don't criticize him. I mean, I really am concerned, and a lot of my listeners are concerned about Trump and the different turns he's made.
Hey, man, you're fighting the devil.
What is happening?
Right.
I feel insane right now.
I do, too.
I feel legit crazy. I feel like I've been sent into a different universe where everything's fucked up. I just listen to this shit.
Yeah. That Jimmy is making a point that is good about what made Trump's brand really viable in 2016.
Right.
And why him winning sucked. and why it didn't work and why it ruined 2020
Right.
and why it's kind of falling apart now
Right.
is that he is supposed to be the bomb thrower. He's supposed to be the guy who is fighting against the system.
Yeah.
He gets in power, and you have to create this entirely insidious other system that he's supposed to be fighting. And now, it's too much. He's supposed to retake the reins for the sake of civilization?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, Obama did the hope and change, right, in 2008. And then when he didn't do either of those things, he didn't continue doing hope and change in 2012. He was like, hey, come on, I'll be better than that guy. Come on, bud. You know, like Trump, that's all you get on your second term because you never deliver on shit.
We already
Because you're
tried.
a trash human being.
Right,
you became the president. You're worthless.
Your slogan when you're being reelected is, we've done all right.
Yeah,
We'll try and do more.
Fuck off.
Great. But
Yeah.
if you've had 4 years off in between, it's really hard to have any kind of idea of we'll keep the ball rolling.
What?
No, you can't. It's no good.
No.
The point that Jimmy is making is fair enough, but
Yeah.
it is about optics, and it's about the brand that everyone bought into with Trump.
Yeah.
The appeal to the supporters was based on wanting to give a middle finger to the man or whatever. And now it really isn't the same. There's still an anger that Trump embodies for a lot of his followers.
Yeah.
But trying to pretend that it works on some kind of a Clinton, Obama insider versus Trump level just feels false.
Just doesn't. Yeah.
And for Alex to be so sort of stammery about his support of Trump is hilarious.
It's so wild. Like I appreciate how everybody got into this place, you know? Because for the longest time we were like, what if everybody was just the worst possible candidate and then we'll choose, you know? But then Biden stepped away. So now you have to the rules are different now. Now it's not two dying old men. Which one was going to be more of a monster to you? You know, the rules have changed.
Yeah, and I think that Alex may be representing something that is really important for him.
Yeah.
Which is you might need to get rid of Trump.
You have to.
He can't even give a strong defense of Trump in front of Jimmy fucking Dore's audience.
I mean, that's tragic.
This is
you don't have to tell the truth.
This is a weak man.
Yeah.
This is very weak.
Yes.
But he should be weak. He shouldn't be defending Trump, but he also should be because it's only 2 months till the election.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be fighting the devil. I don't know.
You just,
his heart's not in this.
You just can't do it. Yeah. I think the only thing maybe that they got is they should go hard on trying to convince everybody that Kamala tried to kill Trump. I think you push the picture of him with the bloody fist, you tie it to all of the Democrats, and you say they're going to kill all of you next.
Yeah.
Right? That's your only hope.
Well, and the idea of creating all of these ways that you can sort of slow down the process and create bullshit inquiries in Congress and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know, create that kind of havoc in advance.
Yeah.
I think those are probably your top priorities.
Yeah, because you just can't do the other stuff.
Right.
It's over now.
There's a chance that Trump will win, and that is not that's not a foregone conclusion.
Sure.
So there is a chance that he could win, and if he does, great.
Right.
But there's also a chance that he could lose.
Right.
And you don't want to be holding the bag.
Right.
And I think that Alex needs to do some work on that in 2 months, and this is one of the first times that I really felt like maybe he's expressing I
think it's so funny. Just that we're in a space where it's Trump could still win, but the only way he's going to win is with a massive amount of help from the media, and that's what we're all waiting for, and they're going to deliver. It's amazing.
I don't know if they can resist.
They just can't. Yeah. They need money. They love money more than they want us to live.
So,
oh God,
this interview, it lasts only about 12 minutes.
You're joking.
No.
Fuck me.
It's very short.
I support him because the system's trying to kill him. But that said, I'm going to be a supporter so that I can put his feet to the fire on issues and, try to get better policies out of it.
Okay. All right. Well, Alex, I just want to say I appreciate you taking time off your evening to share it with me and my audience. Let's hear it for Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Why?
You can follow me, Reynolds Jones, on that Reynolds Jones. God bless you, love you.
So afterwards, he's not like, hey, that guy was an idiot, right? Like, he doesn't, so there's no reveal of, like, this is a joke.
Right.
Or I think it was sincere. I think it's a sincere interview. And I think maybe it would have gone longer if Alex would have been at the time that he was supposed to be there.
Yeah, okay.
Or
I
whatever.
get what you're saying.
I think maybe that was...
Right.
I don't know what happened, but it was very short and disappointing. And then, afterwards, they go back to watching some clips.
You're joking.